Manchester United 3, Ipswich Town 2, and for the 1000th time this season, I'm going to say it, bit of a weird football match that one, really odd. It of course started in catastrophic fashion for Manchester United, then we had a really good spell where in my opinion we played good football, and then it went really wrong again, then we conceded, and then the second half was all about parking the bus at home to Ipswich Town. So it's far from a perfect performance, however, tactically, we did see something a little bit different in this game, so that is what we are going to be looking at in today's video. Before we do that, if you could please subscribe, that'd be amazing, and then we'll get into this. So when the two lineups were released, we would have expected this to be Manchester United in a 3-4-3 versus Ipswich Town in a 4-2-3-1. However, early on, it was obvious that was not going to be the case. You see, Finnegan, who is actually normally a right winger, played as more of a right wing back role, and Ipswich Town shifted to more of a back five. Hutchinson went to the right wing, and Ipswich were now in a 5-2-3 shape. First of all, why did Ipswich do this? Well, because they wanted to go man-to-man with Manchester United. You can see now they've got the front three to match up with our back three, they've got a double pivot to match up with our double pivot, and they've then got 5 defenders to match up with our 5 attackers. It makes sense, this is what Ipswich were trying to do. And early on, I was a little bit worried, because any time that a team goes man-to-man with United, we tend to struggle, because we don't win the individual battles, our dueling capabilities are quite poor. I was worried that we were in trouble. However, Ruben and Amorim made some tactical changes in this game very early on, which meant that for once, we actually asked the questions of the opposition. And that's why I'm in reasonably good spirits today, because I've been crying out for us to do that for a long time now. So what were the questions that we were asking? We were basically asking Ipswich, can you deal with our shape? Because we were not playing in the 3-4-3 for large parts of this match. Instead, we would often see Bruno Fernandes playing as a solo pivot, Ugarte moving to the right-hand side, Xerxes going into the 10, and either Dorgu or Garnacho almost playing as like a left-sided central midfielder. Now, like I said, they would kind of swap and rotate, but this asked questions of Ipswich, because now if we look at this area here, we are actually sort of 4 versus 2. And this was something that we saw very early on in the game. Ipswich here in the 5-2-3 shape, Manchester United shaping up with the diamond in the middle of the pitch. And you can see we are overloading this area. 4 players for United versus 2 for Ipswich. And then when you can do that, you can shift positions, you can move about, move the Ipswich players to open up passing lanes, and then you've got someone like Harry Maguire, who I said in the stream yesterday is a good progressive passer. This is what I'm talking about. This is a ridiculously good pass through the lines, finding Xerxes in the half space, who gets on the turn and drives forward. Good ball progression from Manchester United. And again, it really is about that diamond shape, which we have started to see coming into play in recent weeks. Now, the other benefit of this shape was that it actually allowed Manchester United to pin Ipswich back. So the two wing-backs could go really high up the pitch, forcing the Ipswich wing-backs into a back five. And now, once again, obviously, United have got the 4 versus 2 in this area. But the two on the outside of the diamond, so Garnacho or Dorgu and Ugarte, could actually pull a little bit wider and really start to open up the pitch. And that asks a lot of questions of the two in midfield for Ipswich. Are they meant to be narrow and compact? Are they meant to follow the ball when it goes out wide? Again, we are now asking questions of Ipswich, and just recently it has always felt like it has been the other way around. Again, this opened up an avenue for good ball progression for United. So Bruno Fernandes can pick the ball up, play it wide to Ugarte, who can now carry the ball forward. And of course, we've got an example of this, the diamond here, really wide. But Ipswich are still narrow, they're still compact. You can see that 5 shape there, the front 3 and a double pivot, close to each other, which they probably should be. But look at Ugarte at the top of the picture there. He's got so much space on the right-hand side. This was a role that he started to play towards the end of the Everton game in the second half. And he carried it on in this match, and you can see the space that he now has to receive the ball. Now again, Maguire plays the ball wide to the right-hand side. Ugarte gets himself into a promising position, and then once again, puts the ball into the box. So was this perfect from United, this shape? No, we have spoken about some of the weaknesses in the past, but I don't think it was too bad. Although, to be fair, it hasn't always been the case. Now I know what you guys are thinking. AJ, don't you ever get tired of analysing Manchester United when we're so bad? And you're right, to tell the truth, I do, but that's why I use the Lotus XC6 swivel chair from flexispot.co.uk. Its perfect combination of comfort and style is ideal to help me relax, and the rocking feature makes watching United just that little bit easier whilst I'm making my notes. With a nice little storage compartment as well, it really does have everything that you need. Even gaming with your friends actually has a more chill vibe to it the second you use this chair. And of course, we can't forget about the reclining feature, perfect for putting your feet up whilst you watch your favourite YouTubers and football teams. I mean, you can never really go wrong with a recliner, can you? They're just a dream. I have to say, this is by far the most comfortable chair that I have ever sat on in my life. I really do recommend that you guys check it out. The link will be in the description down below. Go have a look and order your chair today. Now, the important thing when you are trying to ask tactical questions of the opposition is that you keep changing, because if you stick to one shape, like the diamond, eventually Ipswich will adapt. They've got a good manager, he'll figure something out. Fortunately, United were positive in the way that they were kind of tactically trying different things. We were taking different approaches in the game. You guys probably noticed this, I probably don't have to point this out, but Bruno Fernandes at times was playing ridiculously deep. So deep that he was actually an extra centre-back, creating a back four for Manchester United. Now, what this did was overloaded the Ipswich front three. We were worried that it would be man-to-man, but now physically it can't be because United have got 4 players in this area. Ipswich were ready with the narrow front three. So this then meant that Yoro and De Ligt out wide had a lot of time on the ball. Now, of course, in terms of profile, it's not ideal because they're not 2 fullbacks, right? De Ligt and Yoro aren't fullbacks. They're not players naturally which want to progress the ball from these parts of the pitch. But in this game, they did do a pretty good job, and it created kind of avenues of success for United to move the ball forward, particularly with Yoro, Garnacho and Dorgu on the left-hand side. Because Dorgu now wasn't having to receive with his back to goal all the time, and we get that sort of U shape of doom. He was actually playing that little bit higher, and Yoro was doing a lot of the progressive work, and Garnacho and Dorgu were more focused on actually, trying to get forward, trying to create chances. You can see Bruno Fernandes dropping really deep here, and it creates the back four. This is very much a back four shape now. This looks nothing like a back three, but you can see for Ipswich, their front three is still narrow because United surprised them, basically. Ruben Amorim surprised McKenna with his setup. They weren't ready to kind of deal with this. And when you've got a player like Bruno Fernandes with time on the ball, that's a good thing. He can get his head up, and he's one of the best passers in the Premier League. Someone like Dorgu, and we had this all game, to be fair, runners off the ball, could get into these forward positions. And again, I think this was actually genuinely pretty good from United. The other thing that we could do, though, was also go round, because we sort of get a wide triangle, like I said, with Yoro, Dorgu, and Garnacho. And we can see that here. These 3 causing a lot of problems in the first half for Ipswich, combining down this side of the pitch and getting into good areas. Now, unfortunately, the creativity was often lacking. Even when United looked bright and good in this game, we still didn't really create chances. We were reliant on set pieces. But I always say this, if you're getting a lot of set pieces, and particularly corners, you're doing something right, because you have to be progressive to get into those positions in the first place. Now, of course, eventually Dorgu got the red card late on in the first half, and it changed the whole dynamic of the football match. United go down to 10 men. Where is Dorgu? Let's take him off the pitch here. We saw Garnacho come off the pitch, and Mazraoui came on, and this obviously changed things. United were, after that, very much in a back 5. Mazraoui right wing back, Dalot left wing back, and it was sort of a 5-3-1 shape for the rest of the game. So from this point onwards, yeah, I'll give it to you, United weren't very good. It wasn't a vintage Manchester United performance at Old Trafford. It wasn't very attacking. We spent large parts of the game behind the ball. Could Amorim have tried to be more aggressive here? Perhaps. Did we need to bring Mazraoui on? Could we have gone to a back 4? Did we still need the back 5? I'm not sure. In terms of the decision to bring Garnacho off, as opposed to someone like Højlund, I'm a little bit disappointed, because I always like a 1 versus 1 profile, and I think Garnacho is our closest thing to that at the moment. But also, Amorim spoke about it after the game. Set pieces, physicality. Højlund does give you a threat there in both boxes, and ultimately, that worked. United won this game because of set pieces. Yes, I think in the first half we did a lot of good work between the boxes. I think we progressed the ball well, but ultimately the real difference was we took our chances in the penalty area. In the second half, United were sitting deep, we were getting players behind the ball and reducing the space. We know that this back 3 are good at dealing with those sorts of situations, that they're good aerial defenders, they're good box defenders, and Ipswich, unfortunately for them, kind of missed an opportunity here because they do lack that little bit of quality against a low block. They don't really have those players to find the passes between the lines to split open a defence, certainly not on a regular basis. So ultimately, United got there in the end. I don't think we learned too much in the second half, apart from I did like the mentality. There was that balance of, all right, let's get up for the fight here and let's really show some passion, but also players telling each other to be calm and also just absolutely running themselves into the ground. I think first half, tactically, I was genuinely impressed. Far from perfect still, right? But if we're looking for positive signs, there was something in that first half because we were asking the questions. Second half, it's more about mentality, really. And I think the mentality was good. The response from the players was good. Conceding just before half-time, at that point, I expected us to go on and lose the game and it to be one of those days, right? But actually, we came out fast, we scored the goal, and then we fought. We sort of battled for each other, and I think we played well in the second half from, again, a mentality point of view, the work rate. So all in all, I think Ruben Amorim will be pretty happy with what he saw last night. I think technical and tactical progression in the first half, and then an attitude progression in the second half, which was good to see. Of course, it means nothing if we go backwards in the next game, but this for me was a forward step. I think United played well, so yeah, I'm pretty happy. 3-2 doesn't look like a great scoreline, but Ipswich had pretty much no opportunities apart from the goals we literally gave them. United, yes, we lacked creativity, but we progressed the ball well, we worked hard. I think it was a decent match, so I'm reasonably happy. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you make of this performance? Was it progression? Did we play well? Or ultimately, were we still reliant on set pieces? Did we lack creativity and sacrifice control for large parts of the game? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for this video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.